everyone, it's Hockey Off the Turf 757 style. We're glad you are tuned in with us here as we close out the month of July. Get ready for August, and it's a great time of year for sports as we're winding down with things at the Olympics and the high schools getting ready to get going, colleges too. I'm Matt Hatfield, delighted to be joined by the new host of this show. You know her as three-time state champion coach from First Colonial, Maury High School, Lake Taylor, Beanie Schleicher. Beanie, good to see you.
Good to see you, Matt.
Well, we've got field hockey royalty, not just yourself as one of the best around. We've got the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, 2001 inductee, Old Dominion University Hall of Famer from 1989. She became the first two-time All-American in ODU history in 1981 and 82. But before all that, she did it right here in the 757. Beanie at Kempsville High School, a multi-sport star there in basketball, field hockey, 78 state title team at Kempsville. She won a silver medal in the 1987 Pan American Games in Indianapolis, competed in the 1988 Summer Olympics, starter, coach. She's coached at ODU, Green Run, Ocean Lakes. You know her as the great Yolanda Hightower Booth, Yogi Hightower Booth. How are you? Good to see you, Yogi.
I'm doing great. Well, that's like, wow.
It's a lot of things. Wow. That's why you're a Hall of Famer. You're multiple Halls of Fame.
Loving it.
She actually was the first African-American field hockey player to win the Honda Broderick Award as well.
It's the nation's best field hockey player.
Correct.
Given to her back during her brilliance of 1982-83. So you listen to all those accolades, and you're blushing. I see it. It makes you say, wow. Yeah. I was pretty darn good in my day.
I have to say that, and I even want to go back to my kids one time when I was doing a little speech and stuff like that, and I started pulling out stuff, and my boys looked at me and said, Mom, what is all that stuff? And I sort of looked at them, and I was like, and I giggled. I'm like, well, Mom sort of did do a little things, and I was actually pretty good when I was young. And they just sort of laughed at me and started pulling out stuff and putting it on. But yeah, it is amazing to me and humbling and exciting and wow.
Right. Well, we decided to bring Yogi on as our first guest because of the Olympics are going on. Shout out to Leah Krause from Virginia Beach.
Yes. Cox High School zone.
Yeah. Yogi was a part of the '84 Olympic team as a alternate. How was that like?
One of the biggest things as an alternate, you still take on all of the things that a regular team does. I mean, you travel and you sacrifice and things like that. In 1984, the Olympics were in Los Angeles. And unfortunately, as alternates, we were not going. One of my biggest regrets, because I did get the call and say, hey, we're looking for ball girls. Would you like to be one? And I was just so young and I was so angry. I didn't make the team and woe is me. But as an adult, looking back, I wish I could have redone that and been on the sideline. Those women that were on the '84 team were phenomenal. And I wish that I was on the sideline, like I get goosebumps thinking about it, playing, but being along the field and watching the hockey, because the '84 U.S. women's team was amazing. And just to be able to be on the field with that group, that's my biggest regret.
Right.
And as an alternate, you go and you do things, and you still travel, and you still sacrifice, like I said before. But I do have a regret about that.
Yeah,
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward 4 years later, you're going to Seoul, Korea.
Correct.
On the Olympic team. Explain that experience to us.
Well, every year, whenever the Olympics come around, the first thing I do is I sit and I watch the opening ceremonies, and just an onslaught of memories come across. This year when they were coming across the water, I remember, all the stories now they're talking about, the athletes were there on stage for 4 hours. Well, we were on stage in a staging area for 4 hours in our nice little sweater, vest, hot, sweating. And every year I watch, I tear up, I cry, because those are happy memories and things that I would never be able to experience if I didn't do field hockey.
Right.
It was amazing. And watching the athletes, you just sit there and you smile. I mean, one of my sons actually sat with me and he's like, Mom, you're smiling from ear to ear. And I'm like, yeah, because of the memories of being there and knowing what they're experiencing, I experienced. And it's just an amazing feeling.
So brings me to my first question. What would the experience that the current athletes are having right now, specifically the field hockey athletes,
Correct.
How do you think that's different, A, different than your experience, and B, what bit of advice would you have given them before they left?
I think the experience of being there, like I wish I had somebody that sat me down and said, hey, make sure you do this, this, and this, and this. because when you're young, you just get caught up in the moment. One of the things, there was a couple of the Olympians that were out here training one day, and I happened to walk by with my kids, and I walked out and I said, the one thing I want you guys to do is journal. Journaling is probably the best thing, and not journal what you need to do and work on and stuff. Journal your feelings, how you feel, what you experience, what you saw, because now you want to go back and read those journals just as a memory.
Right.
Okay, so those are some of the things that I wish that I had done better at. I remember journaling, but my journal was, we did this at practice, you know, sort of stuff like that.
Right.
But I wish I did more of the emotional side of it, because you do forget the emotional side of it, because you're caught up in the moment.
Right.
And the moment is amazing.
It's a great point, because you don't think nowadays, you've coached players, obviously your daughter went on Duke, great player, you've coached players,
Right.
both fishing out. You don't think of kids nowadays keeping a diary.
Right.
But I think back then, and now it's so important just to bring back those, you talk about the scrapbook memories, to
Correct.
have that in front of you, isn't it?
Because the scrapbook is different.
Yeah.
But to actually write down your feelings and your emotions at the time, it's different. A picture, of course a picture can tell 1,000 words.
Sure.
But your own words and how you were feeling.
Right.
I'm hoping that's what the girls are doing. Because to actually go back and read that and remember, it's so different than looking at a picture.
Right.
Because in that picture, you're going to have the words of what you felt.
Right.
So-
One thing I talked about with my kids when I coached was to keep a grateful journal.
Yes.
Specifically
absolutely.
with hockey, or if you're going to the Olympics, like, what are you grateful for today? For you,
Correct.
what's going on in your situation?
Correct.
As a player, coach,
Right.
official, do it all. What piece of advice would you give a young player and parent navigating through?
As a player, number one, have fun. You have to love what you're doing. Because if you don't love what you're doing, it's not going to be fun and you're going to quit. As a parent, sit back. Let your kids be kids, number one. Number two, let your kids fail. It's okay.
Right.
They're going to survive. Because 90% of the time, failure is what you shouldn't be doing and how you learn from it. I think so many times we have these parents that are like this. Sit back. Enjoy the ride of your kids. Because it is fun. And that's the one thing. I have 2 boys. I sat back and had to be behind a camera most of the time because sometimes my mouth would get going. But let them experience the successes and the failures.
Right.
We don't let them do that.
So
too
for
many
both
times.
of you as parents, how hard, how easy was that transition? Because I've seen it cover multiple sports, whether it be field hockey, you're talking about lacrosse, football, basketball. You'll see when a kid gets to college, and for each of you, I mean, you've done it with it from the coaching side too. Being when you got to college, how was that with your own upbringing, your parents? Was there any similar experiences that you went through as you went through that? Or?
Well, the funny story is my dad was that parent.
Okay.
He was that parent. And I remember playing basketball, running track, playing softball, and field hockey. Okay, all of those sports. My dad knew everything about except for field hockey. My dad was that dad that was in the stands in basketball because, we didn't have that many girls or many people that would go to the girls' games. I could hear him getting frustrated in the stands, and it was embarrassing to me. And so I remember getting, I think it was the ODU Field Hockey Hall of Fame, and actually going up and thanking my dad for being like that, because I chose a sport he knew nothing about, and he couldn't tell me anything about what I was right and what I was doing wrong. So that was the one thing, that's my funny story about it is, but seriously, parents really need to sit back. Even when my boys, I had my older son play baseball in college for a little bit, and I literally would just sit there and just watch because it's not my job. That's his job. That's his story. It's his fun. So that you have to learn how to do that, and it's hard sometimes as parents.
I think because I coached, I was a great parent sideline.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't appreciate it. And I mean, I literally would just, now, my husband, on the other hand, that was the right call. That was the right call. That's a corner.
Yeah.
And at Duke, it was same as it is in high school.
Yeah.
Just arguing with the officials, and I'm like, they can't hear you.
Yeah.
They're way down there. But Haley did appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Gray too. Like, I go to a lacrosse game at Kellum, and woo!
Yes.
I mean, all non-stop. And I
Yes.
just don't say a word.
Yes.
Yeah,
we would
I
always
clap.
sit. Yep.
That's it.
And my husband and I would always sit way off to the side because that's their time. It's not our time to be shown.
I know, but I always sat at 50 just so I could see Haley.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's a little bit different. If she was just a goalie or just
Right.
but,
Right.
It was. I just never said a word, and actually surprised a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm like, I think it's because I coach. I realized
Yeah.
how y'all sound.
Yeah. And even when you become an official,
Mm-hmm.
if you become an official and you're a coach, you change your tone
Yes.
because you learn. Number one, me yelling at an official isn't going to change anything.
Right.
And you learn to respect the fact that what they're doing out there or what us as officials are doing out there is a lot harder
It's very hard.
than coaching. And I don't think people even understand that.
No.
Coaches who come over to officiate,
Yes.
they're like, whoa,
Yes.
this is so hard.
different, yeah.
I'm so sorry I ever said a word to you.
I think my very first game I did, I remember sending out an apology to a lot of officials. I actually did. I was like, I am so sorry, because I was one of those players that I would do a little arguing here and there, and as soon as I stepped on and put that pink on, I remember just going, oh wow, this is hard.
Yeah,
This is hard.
it is
So,
hard.
but
And we need officials, by the way.
Yes,
Everyone's
we
trying to
need
be
officials.
official.
We're going to get to that more with our 757 Top 10 in Olympics. What's going on currently. Before we take a break, though, I want to ask you, Yogi, representing the area, being from Kempsville High School, a Hampton Roads native, going to Old Dominion, and a really glorious time for women's sports, field hockey at a national level. You, two-time All-American. The women's basketball program at the time with Nancy Lieberman,
Yes.
the late great Ann Donovan. What did it mean to represent your area, your school, and do it on the biggest stage at the Olympics? And what's it mean for you then and now?
Back then when I played at ODU, and when I was in high school, you don't really realize the impact that you're having. You really don't, and you don't realize that impact until later. Playing at ODU and being around top athletes, Nancy Lieberman, Ann Donovan, all of those players. I remember our locker room, all the women stayed in the same locker room. Nancy Lieberman's locker was right next to mine. And I remember when she walked in, I was just like, you're an amazing basketball player. I want to be just like you, but on the hockey field. Yeah. And you don't realize the impact that you're having on younger athletes. One of the things I always try to do at some point is give back and come out and hang out. I know Dina has a little group out here every Saturday, and I'll come out and do some officiating. I'll come out and help the younger officials because it is important. What I've done here is because I love what I did, and being around the sport, I still feel the need to give something back. I don't know if that answered it, but I enjoy what I do, and that's why I'm still around. That's why I'm still officiating and stuff like that.
I think it's powerful, and Beanie, you know this, whether you're trying to be the next Caitlin Clark as a basketball player, the next Leah Cross as a field hockey player, there's always some little girl or some youngster out there that sees an athlete, or like Yogi was in her days, that wants to be that. And I think sometimes we always don't process that as it's happening.
I agree completely, but I do feel like Leah, and then we have several national team players, but Leah especially, I think there's a lot of people who are looking up to her right now.
For sure. We've got more here on Hockey Off the Turf, 757 style with some 757 field hockey royalty. Yogi Hightower, Booth, the Virginia Sports and ODU Sports Hall of Famer, and Coach Beanie Schleicher, turned official now, 3-time state champion. Stick around, we got more from our sponsors coming your way, and then we'll be back with Olympic Talk and our 757 Top 10. They'll dissect mine from last year and tell you what it might look like for this year, coming up here on Cova Sports TV.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all. right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
We welcome you back to Hockey Off the Turf 757 style with Beanie Schleicher. I'm Matt Hatfield. We've got some royalty with us as well with the ODU Sports Hall of Famer and Virginia Sports Hall of Famer Yogi Hightower booth. And Yogi, Beanie, fun time of year. Olympics right now. The U.S. women's field hockey team played a really tough one on Saturday. And this team mostly comprised of, you could say, players from Pennsylvania, but we do have some local 757 flavor with Leah Krause from Cox High School in Virginia Beach. Fell 4-1 to Argentina in Paris, but then had a 1-1 draw on Monday against Spain. Sofia Gladieux had the goal, so they gained the fourth spot in Pool B. Coming up on Wednesday, that'll be July 31st, depending on when you're watching this, 7:15 a.m. against Australia. For both of you, though, looking like a lot of promising, I guess you could say, signs for USA women's field hockey against some really great competition on the big stage, the global stage, if you will.
Yeah, Argentina, the team they played first, was ranked number 2 in the country, right? Yeah. Number 2, and we are currently ranked number 13. And the first quarter, y'all watched it, right?
Yes.
The first quarter, they got off to a really slow start. It was probably the nerves, I'm thinking, but the last 3 quarters, they actually played really well. And I think a lot of those goals, 2 of the goals were kind of fluky.
Yeah.
One was mistrapped, was bumped up in the girl just, I mean, that was fluky.
Yeah.
But Argentina's a very good team, really outplayed them, I thought, but we definitely held our end. I
Yeah.
think they're probably pretty proud of themselves.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them, and like we had talked before, I think U.S. shows some sign of brilliance throughout the game, and I am so excited watching them. They're so young, but their knowledge of their game is growing, which actually shows in their second game, but it was so exciting to watch for me.
The goalkeeper, Kelsey Bing.
Oh,
Something else,
Bing,
isn't she?
Bing, Bing,
She's
Bing!
something else. She is
Oh my
unbelievable.
goodness gracious! I'm telling you what, watching her play is just amazing. Leah has played amazing in these last 2 games. So excited for her as well. But that Spain 1-1 was just amazing.
Yeah, I think Kelsey, because she's playing so well, is probably inspiring the girls a little bit.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
you're down 1-0. Then Ashley Hoffman had that corner defensive save that was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And getting it out, and who scored? Sophia?
Yeah, Sophia, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like a Bing. It was a pass, and it was a fast breakaway, and they capitalized on it, and it was so nice. And it was one thing I said, that she did not give up on that ball, no matter what. She kept going, and that's how she scored. A lot of times people stop, but she just, I mean, that's a great sign for the young players to know.
Yeah.
You don't stop at all.
Right. Their
Until
youngest player is 20. It's Ashley Sessa.
Yeah.
And their oldest player is their captain. She's 29. Amanda
That's wonderful.
Galini.
Yeah.
Amanda Galini, yeah.
Yeah.
She's only 29. But so for some of these girls, it'll be first of their second
or third.
Yeah, Olympics.
Second or third Olympics. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty astonished. You played at the highest of levels, Yogi. You've coached at state championship level, Beanie. That we see talent come across here at the training center and the Plex all the time. Would be big events, high school events, club events, USA field hockey events, and going back to your playing days and your coaching days not too long ago. You're both now in the officiating world too. Do you marvel at some of the talent we see, be it internationally, be it statewide here? And we'll get to some of the 757 talent coming up for the high school ranks. Do you ever sit back and go, oh my, didn't expect that coming? How about for either one of you?
Let me tell you
takes
something.
back a little bit?
This season, or even if I'm comparing to when I played to now, I love watching this hockey. This game has gone 3D. Those girls are doing things with balls that I've never seen done before. The 3D carrying the ball and walking it around, it's just amazing to me. I sort of giggle because back in the day, man, we popped that shoulder down. Shoulder obstruction. Now they're twirling and spinning out. It's just, this game has opened up so much that it's become a beautiful game. The passing, even when you watch it with the Olympics, the passing and knowing where people are going to be is phenomenal. Throwing the ball 25, 50 yards and then goals being scored off of that.
On a stick.
On a stick.
Landed on the stick, yeah.
And boom, dropping straight down. It's exciting.
So
for
you
me.
appreciate, which it's refreshing
I
for me
totally
here, probably is for you
appreciate
too, because I hear all these arguments, and it can be with now people talking about with the dream team in basketball, different sports about and athletes from the past may not appreciate what it is to say, but sometimes the athletes of today were inspired by what they saw before and what came before them, right?
And the game just keeps getting better and better. Have you seen any of the guys' men's
Yes.
games? Ooh,
Yes.
that's not. I mean, they're twice
Yes.
as fast as the girls, and they're
throwing it 75 yards.
I was just gonna say that. I mean, they're doing things I can't
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
They hit the ball so hard. They're so fast. I was watching the game with Jeff, and I'm like, how do you officiate that game?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You would think that at that point they might have 3 officials on the field, almost like
Yeah.
soccer.
Right.
One in the middle and 2 on the sides moving.
Yeah.
Just the game has changed, but I feel the game has changed for the better. I think the game is. Look at the people in the stands. That's in itself amazing.
Girls' game.
Girls' games.
Yeah.
Not just the guys' games. The people in the stands. And the appreciation of the game is amazing.
So I'm curious for both of you, and we'll finish up with our top 10. I know you got some more things first, but I want to get the best story from each of you on each other. You've played, coached, officials now. When both of you, Beanie, you can go first, Yogi, you can follow up. When you watch a game now, and of course you coached at Green Run, Mimi Smith, the Monarch, you coached at Ocean Lakes. When you watch a game, are you thinking of it from a playing perspective, coaching perspective, or now a fishing perspective? When you watch, say, the Olympics, what's going through your mind as you watch it? Are you breaking it down? How do you break it down when you watch a game and you can follow as well?
Probably actually both, an official and a coach. I still have my coaching hat on.
Yeah.
I get in trouble a little bit when I'm officiating because of that. I think of it probably more of a coaching style than I do officiating. I think just because I coach so much longer, I'm very passionate about it. I still coach, so definitely as a coaching style.
Yeah, I think me now, because I've been out of the coaching, I almost look at the game as an official.
Okay.
And a little bit of the coaching and the strategy. And so as the strategy's going on, I'm looking at it as where am I going to be as an official? I actually do watch how the officials set up and stuff like that, because that's exciting for me, and it's information.
So you're looking at positioning all
Positioning,
okay.
positioning, player positioning, official positioning. Look, at my age, I know I'll never be at that level officiating, but still, you want to be the best that you can be, even when you're doing a high school game. And so, to me, that transfers over, out here as a high school official. Did a little bit of college, but still, I'm always learning. I'm always learning.
For sure.
Yeah.
I also think because now USA has all their events out here, we had NCCs and Nexus, so it was the best of the best in the country.
Right.
And you can see the high levels of hockey getting higher
there
as well.
Yeah.
Actually, both NCC and Nexus, it was just very high quality from across the country.
Yeah, I'm totally impressed. I see some of these girls at ages 12, 14, 16 doing some of the things with the stick, the ball that they're doing. It's remarkable at times to watch. Well, last year, my final top 10, I think you got it, Beanie, was Norfolk Academy at the top. What a job they've done there. Coach Mary Werkheiser, state champs again. First Colonial, your former school, number 2. Gloucester, number 3 for the Peninsula District. Had Cox 4. Oh my goodness, for them 4. It's like, what in the world, they've got so many state championships, a record. Had Tab, who got it done. Salute to Wendy Wilson, number 5. They were a state champ in a lower classification. 6 through 10 was Nansman River, Catholic, Princess Anne, Great Bridge, and Poquoson. How bad was I? How close was I? What do you think? Grade it for me.
You did A minus.
Okay, A minus. That's better than what I got in high school. I'll take that. All right, I'll take that.
So I think for fun, we should do our top 10
Yes,
for this year,
for
even though
sure.
we have no information.
We have
just
no
what we
information.
know.
You'll get an A plus because you all have way more knowledge and info than I do. So.
Well, I'm also going to be sending out a questionnaire to all the coaches to fill out. So I think our
Yeah.
second top 10 will be a little more. But this is just based on what we know.
Okay.
Of the girls come back or who's left or whatever.
Right.
So for my number 1, I put NA.
I
Makes
agree.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, I put Nansman River.
I agree.
On the rise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I thought they did a great job last
They did.
year.
They were
They're
right
getting
there.
better and better. Is
Yeah.
that just the
Yeah.
program and the culture growing? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they I don't believe they've lost anybody from last year's team. And they were
Oh,
really
so
good
yeah,
last
so I
year.
think it's going to be 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 1
And
and
for
2.
NA, Lizzie Adams is back, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, they got several.
Several.
back.
Yeah, she's
And
one
Mary,
of many Division I talents on that
Yeah.
team. so.
Mary told me she lost about 5 or 6 top level players, but
Okay.
they with the middle school or they have such a
Joji's
huge
back, I
system.
think, as well.
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
stacked. Okay.
Yep.
And 4, you got who?
Or
three,
Or
you got
three.
three.
Three, I have Cox.
All right.
Absolutely.
4 FC.
Yep.
Okay.
5 Gloucester.
Okay.
6 Tab, but I do feel like they lost a lot.
They did from state champs. And what a job she's done over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep winning.
So you might be switching.
And
yeah,
they actually,
PA.
if I'm not mistaken, you all could correct me, I think, depending on how they start the season, who they play, they could challenge that glorious VHSL record of consecutive wins that Cox had in the mid-90s. So depending if they don't play somebody, they're coming up on that record, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because was that 50?
It was somewhere in the high 50s or 60s.
Well, I have to say, was it Green Run? I think we were the one that knocked them out.
Did you snap it? Did you halt the
Yes.
streak? Wow.
Yes, I did.
How did you sprinkle some fruit or you just?
No,
Okay.
we took them.
Took 'em,
We took
all
them
right.
down. Oh no, it was
All right.
a little fairy dust.
Nancy
but
Folks still won't talk to you because of that, right?
Nancy Folks loves me for that.
That's funny. 7, I have PA.
All right. 8 is Great Bridge, is that?
8 is Great Bridge. I
Okay.
feel like they were a young team last year. PA, I think, is returning all but 3.
Yeah.
9, I have Poquoson. They were young last year, and they finished okay. And then 10, I have Catholic.
I
And
like
they
the
lost
group.
quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is not having any information from the
Right.
coaches or knowing players.
And
or anything like that.
who's staying, who's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, get that info to us because we're covering wall-to-wall field hockey. Beanie's the best around to do it as I pass the torch to her, the Olympic torch. And before we let you go, we thank you for coming in, Yogi. We look forward to getting you back on here with our podcast, Hockey Off the Turf 757 style. I know you and Beanie can talk for hours and tell some great stories. I want to know the best Beanie story, the best Yogi story, and I understand it kind of goes hand in hand,
It's
doesn't it?
exactly the same story.
Oh, okay.
And so Beanie was coaching.
Okay.
And
Was it
I
at FC or was it at Memorial?
No, it was right here.
Okay. Right here.
No, it was when she was at FC.
Okay, FC. Okay.
And it was right here on field 1. And so we're games going on, and next thing I know, one of her players just goes running off the field. And she doesn't go through where you're supposed to go through. Or did one go on?
One went on.
Okay,
She
one
said.
went on, and one. So that's you're not allowed to do that, and that's actually a green card back then on the coach. And so I stopped the game, and I turned around, green card.
I'm like, what are you
Green
doing?
card. Oh, Beanie, and Beanie looked at me and was like, "What?" I was like, "It's not you, it's your players. They substituted wrong." And she's like, "You're my first green card ever." And I'm like,
Well, then she
"Sorry."
stopped the game further and went over to sign my book.
Yeah.
So I have
Oh,
it would be
wow.
official.
Do you still have that book?
I think I did.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a collector's item, eh?
that's our story.
That's our story.
And we're sticking to
Wow.
it.
Yep.
So-
That
Well,
was
I
fun.
know. If anybody was going to give you one, you'll take it from Yogi, right?
I was laughing.
Well, we were laughing at you on the sideline, but I was like, I have to do it. I'm sorry, I have to do it.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Well, this is fun. Tons of respect for what both of you all have accomplished in the sport of field hockey and now beyond as officials. Helping our youth is just tremendous. So we salute both of you, Yogi Hightower, Booth, the Hall of Famer, and Beanie Schleicher. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
It's been
it's
awesome.
been great.
It's going to wrap up this edition of Hockey Off the Turf. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV. And enjoy the rest of the Olympics. High school sports is right around the corner. College sports, too. We've got you covered wall to wall with Cova Sports TV. Take care, everybody.